Yo, what's going on, y'all?
What's happening, everybody?
Welcome to another stream, Facemask Fantasy. Y'all already know, week 12 already. Season just keeps blowing past us, but here we are. And it's kind of a weird week this week because we've already had 3 games played. So right. The 1 o'clock slate, yeah, you're still gonna have a fair amount of games during the 1 o'clock slate, but that the 4 o'clock slate shortened, only 3 games, and yeah, there's 2 games at night. I guess with no bye week for anybody in week 12. The 3 games that happen on Thursday really don't.
Oh, did they front load the early part of the schedule?
I think they front loaded the early part of the schedule, but I mean, you look, there have been weeks during the bye weeks where there was only 3 teams playing at 4 o'clock.
Man, if there's 2 games on in the afternoon slate, which I didn't realize.
3. Raiders, right, Seahawks, Chargers, Cards, and Saints, Niners.
Oh, and the Rams and the Chiefs.
And the Rams and the Chiefs. Okay. No, because there's no bye week in week 12.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter that there were 3 games played on Thursday. We still got a full slate on Sunday.
I guess they knew what they were doing. There was a little Thanksgiving gift, I guess, from the NFL.
Yeah, and we're getting that on Christmas too.
Yeah. Speaking of which, hopefully everybody had a good Thanksgiving.
Absolutely.
However you spent it, I assume for at least most of you, portion of it was spent watching the games. Hopefully you're in good shape, but if you're not, or you just have questions in general, you already know. We got you guys covered. Why don't we roll first through with what we know as far as injuries?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we'll get to everybody's questions in the chat. Good to see everybody.
Yeah, we got some weather questions. All right.
Yeah, so we'll get to everything. As you guys know, we'll be prioritizing those types of questions as it pertains to start sit. Again, you guys already knew that. But the big names to this week. What, Jamar Chase?
Yeah, Jamar Chase will not be available
to play
against the Titans.
Right.
It looks like he is real close to being healthy. They're holding him out 1 more week to be safe.
Yeah.
So they're playing their cards close to the vest, playing it safe with Jamar Chase, and really that's the smart thing to do. So I kind of applaud them for holding him out for 1 more game. Especially, I mean, really, they should be able to beat the Titans. I know the Titans win games, but they should be able to beat the Titans.
Are good. The Titans are better than I thought they would be. I had them as a team that I expected to take a step back this year, and so far that hasn't happened. They're a rock solid team. They're a good team in the regular season.
We expected Derrick Henry to take a step back, and he hasn't. So no. I mean, the Titans go the way that Derrick Henry goes. He hasn't taken a step back, so the Titans are fine. Yet another year where we were wrong on this Derrick Henry eventual cliff. I mean, I said at the end of last year, I'm not gonna doubt this guy again, and then 3 months went by, and I started doubting Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
And I was all the way off the train by the time the season started. I'm gonna stick to it. I'm done doubting Derrick Henry. So respect to the Titans, but that's that Jamar Chase news. Broncos, Panthers, no Terrace Marshall, no Jerry Jeudy. That's kind of it.
Is Terrace Marshall ruled out?
He is doubtful.
Okay.
And Texans, Dolphins. I hope that Dameon Pierce bounces back, but I don't really know if there's any real injury news to get into with this game.
I mean, Houston will have a new quarterback, right? It'll be Kyle Allen instead of Davis Mills. But no, nothing on the injury front.
Yep.
Most likely, you're relying on Dameon Pierce at this point. Hopefully, it's more of like your third running back option instead of your second or first.
Yeah, you want him in your flex spot.
But it's a tougher matchup, yeah. So we'll see about that. But it's a mostly healthy game as far as the fantasy players.
And then Bears Jets. We got Corey Davis back on one side of the ball, and now he gets a change at quarterback, thankfully. Hopefully that Mike White can jumpstart this offense a little bit more. It needs it. And then the Bears don't have Justin Fields.
Yeah, that's the big one here. Fields is listed questionable, listed as a game time decision, but they elevated a quarterback from the practice squad. I don't remember who it is. That move typically signals that the starter is not going to be available.
Yeah.
So he's going to rest. The Bears have nothing really to play for at the rest of this season. They're sitting at 3-7. Their franchise quarterback is banged up enough where he's a game time call. This should be a relatively easy decision. Yes, you obviously want your young player getting experience and continuing to play, especially when he's playing well, but not when it's too dicey because of an injury. You let that thing heal.
On a bad team with nothing to play for.
Right.
Yeah.
Fields,
honestly,
so Fields out. Assume Fields
shut
out.
Him down.
Trevor Siemian in.
Honestly, shut him down. It was a dislocation to the non-throwing shoulder, but shut him down.
I mean, let's see how the injury responds, but this week is obviously way too soon.
Yeah.
This week is way too soon. So sit him at least 1 week, and then you can reevaluate next week if he's a fast healer. But Fields will miss. That pretty much makes, guys like Darnell Mooney and Cole Kmet way less intriguing.
Yeah, the only guy I want to play on the Bears is David Montgomery, and that's it.
Yeah, most likely.
And then the Falcons and Commanders play. Carson Wentz was activated off of IR, I believe.
He's going to remain the backup.
But yeah. So that's good news for the McLaurin owners and everything out. The Antonio Gibson owner out there, all that. The Falcons on the other side of the ball. No Kyle Pitts.
No Pitts on IR.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
And you probably already knew that. Yep.
Right. Unfortunately, not sure his season ever actually got started, but he is done for what we can assume to be the rest of the regular season.
Buccaneers Browns. Should be a good
well,
one.
just a real quick note, and to this note as well, this is where weather's going to come into play. That game in Washington, it's supposed to rain all game. Cleveland is, I think, high winds. I'm pretty sure that's what's expected. So, yeah, you guys know the drill. Downgrade kickers, feel a little worse about passing games. Generally speaking, you got to start studs. But those fringe players that sometimes they're in your lineup, sometimes they're not. This is that week where you maybe look to replace them. It's a dicier situation with the weather.
Yeah.
But anyway, Bucks, Browns, no Fournette.
No
Wheels
Russell
up on
Gage,
Rashad
if that
White.
means anything to you, it really shouldn't.
I guess if you're playing Julio in a deeper league, that's about it. You're starting Mike Evans because you have to. You're starting Chris Godwin because you have to.
You're starting Amari Cooper on the other side of the ball because you have to.
Starting Amari Cooper because you have to.
DPJ might not be a play this week.
This might be
That's
the week
where
where I like DPJ. I've been stunting for him all season long. Maybe not this week.
David Njoku, also kind of a fringe player. Maybe you look at elsewhere at tight end, look on your waiver wire.
And you maybe don't feel as good about guys like Brady. In Superflex leagues, you have to fire him up.
Regardless, but
it's a good matchup by the numbers. Again, what do I say every week? Cleveland's defense stinks, but they might get helped out a little bit by the weather tomorrow.
Yep. And then Ravens Jaguars, we got a couple of pretty big pieces of news. Mark Andrews playing. Isaiah Likely on the other side of the ball. No Darrell Henderson this week, but now Darrell Henderson is a Jag, even though he was always a Jag.
Ugh, don't do it like that. I liked him as a prospect.
He was fine. He had a good year last year.
He was decent for them. I think he averaged 4.5 yards per catch. Like, he was decent. They just didn't seem to like him. And I know you've said that too. I don't really know.
No, they don't seem to like any running back. Except for Gurley. Like, they miss Gurley. They haven't liked any running back that has been a part of their organization since.
Yeah, I don't know. Henderson was always, he's not a top 10 back in the league, but he's solid. He doesn't stink. Anyway, he's in Jacksonville now. So they're not activating him for this game.
They are not. So it's Travis Etienne show. It's the Travis Etienne show.
Sure. Tough matchup, but at home you fire him up as a low end RB1.
Yeah. Yep. And then we get into the 4:00 slate, and we will get to these questions real quick when they're piling up. But just to go over all the games, because we got some important news to go over.
It might answer some of the questions, as we do this, right? So, yeah.
But the next one I got at 4:05, Raiders Seahawks. No Josh Jacobs, or Jacobs is questionable, right?
Late add to the injury report. I think
you never want to see that.
Or an ankle on Friday. Yeah, late add to the injury report, questionable. This is where it gets tricky, right? Because he does play in the later slate. So you have to ask yourself now, do I want to play a dude who I very clearly have him ranked lower than Josh Jacobs, but he's better than the alternative to Josh Jacobs if I wait on Josh Jacobs? You know what I mean? Like, because then my options are even fewer.
Yep.
I have fewer guys to pick from. So that's going to be a hot topic today. Generally speaking, you have to err on the side of caution in this situation. A late add to the injury report is not a great sign. And they would be upfront about this at this point if it was like, we can feel optimistic about this. So true question mark. I would say the cutoff is a guy like, say, maybe like Donta Foreman. I might just go ahead and fire him up over Josh Jacobs, even though it's not a great situation and it's earlier and I'd much rather play Jacobs. But if it's like Donta Foreman or Zamir White, right?
If you have Zamir White even, right?
If you have him, right. Like, and that might be the best case scenario as far as your alternative. Just because, running backs are scarce. They always will be as far as their availability.
And there's no real way to swerve here for anybody who would swerve to a player that's playing after the Raiders kickoff. I mean, nobody on the Chargers I want to be playing. The Cardinals, I mean, Keontae Ingram, I think I'm just rolling with. I guess that's a swerve. You hear about any bad news about Jacobs, you can swerve to a Keontae Ingram, plays in the same time slot, start at 4:05.
Sure.
No Mark Ingram, so I don't know who's going to be there for the Saints. Not that I want to play any of them. Those guys. Rojo got elevated for the Chiefs.
There you go.
If you want to play
Mark
that game,
questionable. He is questionable.
Yeah,
for what it's worth.
Not
totally ruled out yet.
There aren't too many swerve options for the later games, so you will probably have to be paying attention prior to the 1:00 games and probably put somebody in at 1:00 if you don't hear anything.
It's a good
chances
matchup
are you
for
might
Keontae
not.
Ingram, by the way, against the Chargers.
With a lot of injuries. No Rondale Moore, no Greg Dortch, no Zach Ertz, obviously.
Wait, no Dortch?
No Dortch. I think he's very questionable.
Oh.
I think he got removed. From the or not removed, or he's he's removed from the game plan tomorrow. It's AJ Green and DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah. Okay, all right,
and so Marquise Brown, but still, I think Keontae, decent.
Yeah, decent swerve. Guy like that, decent swerve. If you have Josh Jacobs.
But speaking of those next games, Chargers, Cardinals, no Mike Williams, and then we talked about everybody that's not playing for the Cardinals. Right. Saints, Niners, no Mark Ingram, but I think that's the only person of note here that,
he's questionable. He's not he's not ruled out yet, but you're not relying on him.
Yeah. Rams, quarterback change. It looks like Bryce Perkins is now the QB1 for that team.
Yeah. Real quick to go back to the 49ers game, Debo is
right.
With the hammy.
Yep.
So keep an eye on that one.
And we got a super chat. Rico, thank you very much, and we will get to this chat real soon. But real quick with this pick 3, Rashad White, Debo, Pearson, Pickens. I think I go the first 3.
This is easy. The first 3, and if Debo's ruled out, Pickens doesn't play until Monday night.
Boom. Perfect.
So you can just swerve right to George Pickens. So yeah, Rico, appreciate the super. Not necessary, but always appreciated. Yeah, you are firing Rachaad White up with plenty of confidence. You are firing up Damian. You are firing up Dameon Pierce because you have to. You are firing up Debo because you have to. But if he's ruled out, Pickens doesn't play until Monday night. You can just slot him in.
Yeah. Yep. And yeah, good choice to have to make. Yep. Solid players there. But thank you very much, Rico. And then yeah, I mean, Rams Chiefs, no Bryce Perkins, downgrade everybody in that offense.
Yeah, no Matt Stafford, no John Wofford, Bryce Perkins in.
No Cooper Kupp, obviously.
No Cooper Kupp. Darrell Henderson is waived.
Is Higbee not playing too? Did I see something on Higbee?
He was questionable, but I haven't seen anything about like he's gonna miss.
All right. Well, still, I'm not playing a Ram if I can avoid it.
I might be okay with playing Higbee, but if he goes, because if anything else, they're gonna throw all game, and he might be a volume based like TE12 type of guy, like low end tight end one if he goes just on volume, but how quality that volume is TBD.
Yeah. I'm just trying to see if there's anything I can pull up about Bryce Perkins' historical
but
stat
if I had
lines.
Kyle Pitts, or I'm just in, I'm in dire straits. I don't have a stud. I don't have a clear cut guy.
Yeah.
Just throwing it out there.
And then
he would probably be it.
Yeah. And then you're playing everybody on the Chiefs. No Mecole Hardman, no Kadarius Toney. But you're playing everybody you can on the Chiefs, and you already knew that.
You're playing Tutu.
Yeah.
You're playing Pacheco. You're
playing everybody who's playing in the game.
You could probably play McKinnon in deeper leagues.
I'm playing McKinnon this week.
There you go.
Yeah. If I have McKinnon, I'm playing McKinnon as an RB3 with RB2 upside. For the Packers and Eagles, nothing really to talk about with the Eagles. I don't think A.J. Brown should healthy again, playing. All good.
Yeah, he had a stomach bug apparently on Thanksgiving. He was like really sick, but he's over it. He doesn't have a designation on the injury report. He's fine. Aaron Jones was also listed with shin injuries. He's off the injury report. He's good to go.
No Romeo Doubs, but Allen Lazard is playing in the game.
Yep, and Rodgers was he's off the injury report as well. He's been just like rest day Wednesday type of thing. So yep, that's
and then Steelers Colts.
Steelers Colts, right.
No Jalen Warren, so Najee gets a bump. Got 2 touchdowns last week, so he's back on the map.
He's always, he's been on the map.
He wasn't on the map for a while.
No, he was. As an RB2, yes, relative to expectations.
He was the RB24.
Yeah, that's an RB2.
Yeah, but you have to throw that in there because the difference between RB12 and 24 is substantial.
But he's been. You can put him in your lineup each week. It's 10 points, but it's not like he's having 15 and then 2. You know what I mean? Like it's not like there was consistency there. So he maintains, I would say, a top 20 floor.
Yeah, and he's got more touchdown value this week, and
a little bit more touchdown upside. Yeah,
the 12 touches that would go 9 to 12 touches that would go to Jalen Warren. He gets those.
10 of them are going to 8 to 10 of them are going to Najee.
Right.
And Snell picks up maybe 5 touches.
Now, new development. If I can not play Deontay Johnson, I'm going out of my way to not play Deontay Johnson moving forward. I'm done.
Yeah.
This year.
It's just been a bad situation.
I still believe in the player, which is why caveat this year. But this year,
I believe in the player,
out.
but this year it's over.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just this hasn't been the year. There was a severe downgrade in usage, going from Big Ben to Kenny Pickett. He is like this year's DJ Moore. He's this year's 2021 DJ Moore.
And, for what it's worth, Freiermuth has been averaging like 4 to 6 more targets a game, and that takes away from Deontay and all that. So multiple factors, but still. All right, let's get into this chat. A lot of chats piling up. Thank you again, Rico. Much appreciated. Tim, good to see you. Kevin Valentine, what it do? How we feeling about this Cleveland weather tomorrow?
Yeah, so...
You're playing Rachaad
White with plenty of confidence. You're playing Mike Evans and Chris Godwin because you have to. You're playing Amari Cooper because you have to. Let me just get the most recent information on the weather in Cleveland. So at 1 p.m. So showers and winds. Actually, the winds are down to more like 15 miles an hour. So that's actually not as concerning. Yeah, the rain kind of puts a damper on this. The winds are supposed to pick up as the game moves on, continues in. Okay, so there is that. Could be up to 20-mile-per-hour winds toward the end of the game. Yeah, I would not play the kickers in this game. So Ryan Suckup, I would be looking elsewhere. Brady is not a one quarterback stream for me. I mean, he should be fine, but we don't want fine. You know, we're looking for who is the best play this week if I'm streaming, and I don't think Brady is that.
14 points, 11 points, 19 points, high water mark, 16 points, 18 points.
This is not
very low end QB2.
Yeah, these are not ideal conditions for him, even though the matchup by itself is good. You still got to start Mike Evans, still got to start Chris Godwin, still got to start Rachaad White, still got to start Amari Cooper.
And Tim got a few questions. We already answered. You're playing Godwin. But do I play Boyd or Campbell in your wide receiver 3 spot? No Chase means you're playing Boyd.
Yeah. They both have good matchups, and Campbell has been good recently. Actually, for what it's worth, Boyd did get goose egged last week, or maybe he
I'm going back to him though.
Minimal production, or was
no
that...
Mixon. I'm going back.
No, I was about to say I'm going back to him. I just want to make sure. I remember seeing a goose egg very late in the game. I just want to confirm that he in fact ended with that.
And while you check that out, you play Montgomery.
He catches for 42 yards.
All
Pretty
right.
good. Okay. So fine. So Boyd.
And Montgomery is fine. He's a start in a game where they're going to have to rely on him. No Khalil Herbert. Montgomery is a start for me here. Latavius Murray is
Fields.
Last-ditch start throw to me at this point. Volume-based dart throw RB2 with
Latavius
probably
is more valuable than that. Melvin Gordon having gotten cut.
He's volume-based RB2.
Yeah, so he's right. So he's not.
And then
I think I thought
Carter's number 3 for me out of those options. Hopefully he gets a little bit of a boost with the QB change, but I got to see it first. I got to see it from Carter. I got to see this offense. But yeah, Kenneth Walker, Jeff Wilson, 1-2, go for it, and roll Montgomery in the slot. And you'll be fine. And play Godwin. You're good. Kevin, full PPR, would you start Pickens, Cooks, or Pacheco over any of the following? Rachaad White, Jeff Wilson, T. Higgins, Olave, Kamara, Aaron Jones?
No.
Not with no Raheem Mostert. Like Jeff Wilson gets that over Pacheco this week, even with there not being CEH. So, John Alvarez, good to see you. Happy Thanksgiving. Itty Bitty South City, happy Saturday to you. Kirk, Christian Watson, Elijah Moore, Rachaad White, Kyron Williams, Eli Mitchell, Dontrell Hilliard. Need one wide receiver, one running back, and one flex.
Kirk,
White,
Rachaad White, and Watson.
Yep.
Yeah. You put Kirk and White in their positional spots, and you put Watson in the flex because he plays Sunday night.
Yep.
Put your late playing players into the flex. Just, you never know what could happen. Maximize flexibility.
And hopefully you did that on Thursday too. We didn't have a reminder for you because we didn't have a stream that day because it was a holiday, but hopefully you did that too.
Never play your Thursday players in your flex spot unless your whole lineup is playing on Thursday.
Yep.
So anyway, but Kirk, Rachaad, Watson.
And then C-Mac, Pickens or Hollywood Brown in PPR. I think I'm going Hollywood Brown. Like Pickens, strong start pretty much every week. He's the wide receiver 1 in that offense. But with all the injuries for the Cardinals and considering their schedule, like the Cardinals are playing the Chargers, going to need to keep pace. I think I'm going to Hollywood Brown over Pickens.
Could be on a pitch count. First game action since week 6. I might go Pickens here just because I'm first game back, I'm always a little leery. Like, he could do what Keenan Allen did, which I think he got around like 5 for 90 last week, something like that.
But
so
he
like
could do what Mike Williams did too.
Yeah. So like he could come through for you with like a wide receiver 2 performance, or he could be eased back in. I think I would go Pickens here, who I know is, not returning from an injury in his first, it's not his first week back from an injury. I think I would play it safe and go Pickens.
Yeah, Pickens is a safe play, and there's nothing wrong with playing Pickens. I like Pickens as a wide receiver too. It's just Hollywood Brown loved the quarterback more, and they're missing like 4 pieces from that offense.
Sure.
Obviously, no Ertz, no Benjamin because they cut him, and he was kind of their receiving option in the backfield. And we've already been over no Greg Dortch and no Rondale Moore. So Hollywood for me, we're split there.
It just depends on your risk tolerance, C-Mac, and what you want to do.
Yep. KC Royals, good to see you. What's going on, man?
What's up, KC?
Start Foreman, Lazard, Marquise Brown if he plays in the flex. Foreman, I think.
I was thinking Lazard.
Without knowing the format.
Yeah, I don't know that. Yeah, I guess if it's standard Foreman, if it's half PPR or full PPR, I prefer Lazard. The Packers are gonna have to throw against Philly if you expect the game. If the expected trends play out, we're expecting the Eagles to be winning that game. And they're on the road. They're gonna have to throw a ton anyway. I would personally play Lazard if it's half or full PPR.
Yeah, looking at the numbers for Lazard, I guess I wasn't aware he had 11 targets last week.
He's been rock solid.
And 10 targets 3 weeks ago. I've been so focused on Christian Watson, I haven't been really keyed into the fact that Allen Lazard is still their wide receiver 1.
Yeah.
So yeah, Allen Lazard. Yep, I'm cool with that. Elias, good to see you. Latavius Murray or Pacheco in PPR.
Man, there's a real argument for Latavius here. PPR doesn't make me want Pacheco anymore, unfortunately, because he didn't catch a ball last week.
I want Pacheco. Look who the Chiefs are playing. They're going to be running the ball by the second quarter.
Yeah, I mean, I think Murray's got the much better matchup by the numbers. And now Melvin Gordon. I mean, to the point, like, yes, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is down for the count. Melvin Gordon is literally gone. Man, that's tough. I like both this week. I'm playing Pacheco. I don't have Latavius Murray. If I did, I would want to find a way to get him into my lineup. It's such a good matchup by the numbers.
Yeah.
Like, Kansas City's missing lots of guys on offense, but so is Denver. Jerry Jeudy. Who else is out for them? No, Terrace Marshall's out for the Panthers.
It was only Jerry Jeudy. But
okay, so they're all right. So
yeah, I guess we're split here, Elias.
I don't even know. I'll be honest. I'm not sure what my answer is. Murray is a floor play. I guess Pacheco is a ceiling play for me. But Murray's got 2 touchdown upside. He's been solid for them, and now Melvin Gordon is gone.
Yeah,
and we know Jerick McKinnon's going to mix in more than Marlon Mack. Or who's their RB2? Is it Mike Boone? Or is he on IR? What happened with that?
Mike Boone, there's speculation he might be brought back, but I think they bring up Divino Zigbo?
Oh, is that who got elevated?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, maybe he doesn't have 2 touchdown upside, but he does.
He has. Didn't he get 1 touchdown in 4 of the weeks that he's played? But I think he has 2 touchdown upside.
I think he's got a
Carolina
50-yard.
Right.
I would say he has a 50-yard floor. Pacheco has a 100-yard ceiling, but maybe like a 40, 45-yard floor. And less of a chance, I would say, at this. But if I had to put money on an anytime touchdown between these two, it would be Murray. Yardage, I guess I would give the edge on the ceiling play to Pacheco.
I mean, I know the Rams are decent against the run, pretty good against the run, but I just think they're going to be playing down so much in that game that the Chiefs are just going to run all over them. So
I like the Pacheco play. I do. And at home, there is an argument to be made for Murray.
Yeah, there is. Volume-based RB2, and I wasn't giving him enough credit. Volume-based RB2, but Pacheco.
Yeah, he's good rest of season, but versus like against Pacheco tomorrow, like as far as who to start, that's tough. They're two good options.
And John Alvarez has to make a decision between Curtis Samuel and Treylon Burks because he can't rely on Chase in Week 12.
Yeah. Tennessee's playing the Bengals at home, and Curtis Samuel's playing in the rain. I guess that means he could get more backfield touches as a running back, but I think
that role's kind of strong for him lately.
I think I would go Burks in a game where the Titans are going to have to throw some because of the opponent. Samuel's playing an Atlanta team that might control the clock, a little bit more with how much they run the ball. I would play Burks for the upside.
Yeah. I mean, he is the number one, and over the last week, he had a very good game. So let's follow it back up. See if he can do it again.
And, Curtis in the rain with a diminished backfield role. Not as enticed.
Itty bitty South City. Should I pick up Moreau or keep Dulcich? Not a fan of Russ's play as of late.
So pick up Moreau. If you don't, look, Dulcich has been solid. Dulcich has been really solid. I think he caught a touchdown 2 weeks ago, but he had like a one catch performance last week. I think it was like a 40-yarder, but it was not until like the end of the game. So yeah, he's your typical tight end. He could score a touchdown. He could give you one catch.
Right.
I think with no Judy, I think I hold on to Dulcich.
Yeah, I want Dulcich with no Judy, and no
Melvin Gordon anymore.
Like I was making this decision because I had to choose between holding on to Juwan Johnson or just picking up a Greg Dulcich. And I looked at, Juwan Johnson's playing at a ceiling right now. And he's playing incredible, but playing at a ceiling. Greg Dulcich over the last 3 weeks, his usage has been better than pretty much any tight end outside of the top three. But he's been a floor play just because plays haven't gone his way. But the snap percentage is super high. Route participation.
It's raining on these routes.
There you go. He's just out there a lot. So I'm going back to Judy. Or not, I'm going back to Dulcich, but Moreau is decent. Yeah. He's a decent swerve if you do not believe in Dulcich this week, or do not believe in Russ, not Dulcich. I think we all believe in Dulcich.
Yeah. It's a good matchup for Moreau, but I think I would hold Dulcich for one more week with no Judy.
I kind of want both of those guys on my squad. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie.
There you go.
Jacob Ander, good to see you. What's Tyler Boyd, Paris Campbell, or Christian Watson PPR.
Boyd is a floor play. Watson is the ceiling play. Campbell's been a
Boyd's
floor
a decent
play as well.
Ceiling play too. I think I would just go Boyd because.
Go Boyd.
Like I said about Lazard, he's getting 10 and 11 targets 3 weeks ago and last week. Christian Watson is not the wide receiver one in this offense.
Yep.
He's the big play threat, and
he could be, but Lazard is, by nature the wide receiver one.
Yeah. I think I'm going Boyd.
Boyd is safe. I mean, all these guys honestly feel kind of safe right now, but
yeah.
Boyd catching passes from Burrow, best quarterback of this group in a matchup where I'm pretty sure the Titans secondary is they're like a top 5 matchup for opposing wide receivers as far like favorable. I mean, like it's a great matchup. Yeah, Boyd.
Yeah, I mean Christian Watson, he's been great over the last 2 weeks. Don't get me wrong, but 5 touchdowns on 8 catches. He's bound for some regression at some point, and I just think the safer option is we need that. The moderators help us out, mods. Looks like the chat's getting blown up by spam.
Oh, we're getting blown up.
But yeah, Christian Watson, he's a little bit more boom bust than like his last 2 weeks would have you believe. And Richie Rich, Sutton, Michael Carter, Akers at the flex, full PPR. With no Judy, I think I'm just going Sutton, even though it's kind of a floor play in PPR, but PPR. Sutton.
Yeah, Sutton.
And Rico, thank you again for the super, much appreciated.
Yeah, appreciate
Hope our advice helped. MJ23, should I stack Murray, Hopkins, and Hollywood, or Herbert, Eckler, and Allen? Wow.
Is this like a DFS question, or like do you have all these guys on a season long squad? Either way, I would. Eckler is like Eckler. I understand. I would argue yes, Eckler is a stack, but he's less of a stack, right, than Murray, Hopkins, and Hollywood.
I would want the Murray, Hopkins, and Hollywood because yes, Hollywood is first game back, but now Murray. This is what we've been waiting for with Murray. This is one of the reasons we wanted Murray because for the lead up to the postseason for fantasy, and for the postseason for fantasy, he would have two of the best wide receivers, giving him a 1-2 punch on.
You know what?
I think I go Kyler Murray, because he has his two best weapons over Herbert, who's still missing one of his.
I said, okay, it looks like down below, it looks like it's DFS. I think I would actually go the Herbert side because Keenan Allen's off the injury report. Eckler has to be the dude for them in that lineup. And Hollywood, it's his first game back. These two teams play each other. The Chargers are the road team. And it's a favorable matchup by the numbers for both quarterbacks and wide receivers. Or it's a favorable matchup for the quarterbacks, for sure. It's a favorable matchup for Herbert. I forget where Arizona sits. Yeah, okay. They're not like it's below average for the wide receivers. But Keenan Allen is a guy that you're firing up regardless of matchups. I think I would take Herbert, Eckler, Allen here because regardless of what's happening, give me the proficient offense on the road, probably having to stay aggressive more likely and more often than not because they're on the road.
The quarterbacks are the big movers for me here, and Justin Herbert, love what he's done with his young career, but last 3 games, QB 18, QB 24, QB 11. The last 3 games from Murray were firmly in the top 10.
Yeah.
And I know he gets it done a little bit with his legs and stuff, but and that boosts his fantasy score, but QB 10, QB 3, and QB 8. And he's got both of his number 1 weapons back. And you can still play Eckler. If you want to spend up at that position. We've spoken for a long time about the upside for a Kyler Murray offense. And he finally has the best weapons that we've seen him have.
Yeah. Together
on the field together. So, yeah. Kyler for me. So, we're split there, MJ.
I guess, I would be... I will, like, Herbert's... The last thing I'll just say, Herbert's low numbers were without both Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, and now at least he has Allen back and Everett for what it's worth. Everett missed last week's game. Actually, he was still pretty good last week, even without Everett, but he gets Everett back. I think I would rock. Personally, I think we're split here. I would probably rock with the Chargers.
We're split there. We're split there.
Yeah.
So, sorry about that, MJ. Hopefully we can agree on some of these other questions you got here.
Hopefully the dialogue helps you make your decision at the end of the day. Like, we're not trying to make this decision like where John and I are like, this is our lineup, it's yours.
Right.
So whichever lineup you prefer or whatever argument or what side of the coin you prefer. Yeah.
And it's just to jump down to your other questions, Greg Z and Van Santana, we'll get to your questions in a second, but Geno Smith stack with Kenneth Walker and Tyler Lockett, that's a running back stack to me that isn't much of a stack with the QB. So I'm going Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. I don't think Sky Moore really factors in here, but I would take the
he might
Mahomes Kelce stack over Geno Walker lock stack.
Yeah.
Taking out Sky Moore out of the equation. But
no, I would put him in because he's a cheap He's a cheap lineup option that allows you to spend money somewhere else. No Mecole Hardman, no Kadarius Toney, no Clyde Edwards-Helaire, right? Sky Moore, I agree with you on the Chiefs side, but I would include Sky Moore in that.
I would see if you can swap out Sky Moore for Jerick McKinnon, and if that's your flex spot. That's kind of like we haven't seen anything from Sky Moore. At least Jerick McKinnon has a few games in recent memory with eight targets in back-to-back games.
I thought Sky had a decent week last week.
Did he? If he did, I didn't see it.
He had on 6 targets, 5 catches for 63 yards.
Okay, decent.
Like by far the best game of his young career in this rookie season of his.
Still less targets than Jerick McKinnon. So again, if this is a flex spot, I would rather play Jerick McKinnon over Sky Moore if I want to be tied to the Kansas City offense.
Yeah.
If it is wide receiver, then yeah, it's not a bad spot to be in.
Yep.
And then pick 2, Jeff Wilson, Rachaad White, Kenneth Walker, Michael Carter. Kenneth Walker and who are you going with out of Rachaad White or Jeff Wilson this week?
I hate that I can only play 2 of these guys.
I think I'm going Rachaad White.
Rachaad White, they're both really good matchups. They're both really, really good matchups. And Wilson, there's no Raheem Mostert.
No, screw it. It's against Houston. Miami against Houston. I'm playing Jeff Wilson. I'm playing Jeff Wilson. I love Rachaad White. I'm playing Jeff Wilson.
Houston is the most favorable matchup for running backs. Cleveland is second. So, that's what makes this hard.
Jeff Wilson is just in a higher scoring offense. Against a terrible team that could be out of it, and they could just be salting it away by, again, second quarter or something like that.
Right.
I think I'm just going Jeff Wilson. He's a play this week.
Yeah. I mean, there's arguments for both, right? What John just talked about with Wilson, but then also with Rachaad White, he can catch the ball. There's no questions about that. If Tampa's in a ball game, like on the road, we know Brady likes to dump it off, right? We know he loves short, quick throws. Rachaad White will probably be the beneficiary of those scenarios at least a few times tomorrow. So, yeah, it depends on – they're both great matchups. Walker, I think, has to be in. And then Wilson is in the best matchup any running back could ask for with no Raheem Mostert. Rachaad White, by the number or by the matchup, is in also a great situation with no Leonard Fournette. Yeah, I mean,
last 2 weeks from Jeff Wilson, he's been an RB1 by fantasy points in the last 2 games. And now with no Raheem Mostert, I'm going back to that well. RB10 2 weeks ago, RB6 last week. Not to say that Rachaad White can't match those point totals this week, because it does look good for him. But Jeff Wilson's been doing it all year. So I'm just going to go with the guy that's been doing it all year. Yeah. Right. To me, Kenneth Walker and Jeff Wilson for me. But we might be split there as well for the second option.
Yeah, I want to play both of these guys. It sucks that you can't play all 3.
Yeah. Yep.
It's a good problem to have.
And Greg Z, thanks for joining us, man. Can you pick Greg. 2 wide receiver and a flex, Chris Olave or Jeff Wilson, Terry McLaurin? And yes, Everett to auto start over Komet with Fields out and with no Mike Williams. And I think I would.
Jeff Wilson's in your flex.
Jeff Wilson's in the flex.
And then
Olave or McLaurin?
McLaurin's at home with bad weather. Olave is on the road in San Francisco. McLaurin floor, Olave ceiling.
And I think I'm just going McLaurin.
You're going playing it safe with McLaurin?
I'm just playing McLaurin, yeah. Didn't have the week we wanted from him last week. I don't think, right? Didn't have a boom week, but...
Didn't have a boom week, no.
But he's had more boom weeks of late than Olave has. Even though Olave had a boom week last week. He caught that long bomb, but doesn't have that 12 to 14 target upside that we saw with no Jarvis Landry in the fold. So Terry McLaurin.
Okay.
He's been a low-end wide receiver one ever since Heineke came into the fold, as you said last week.
I just the weather could be an issue there. That's all.
Yeah.
Not that's all. That's a thing.
It is. It is.
If you're worried about weather, Olave. If you're not, then I guess McLaurin should be fine.
Yep. And Ben Santana, full PPR, Donta Foreman or Kyron Williams. Donta Foreman for sure, dude.
Foreman for now, but sure. Definitely hold Kyron Williams.
Yeah, I want him on my bench, but I'm not playing him this week.
Not yet, but it's very fair to be intrigued by what he could potentially bring to the table with Darrell Henderson out of the mix.
Yep.
But Foreman for this week.
And we got another question about Foreman. Foreman or Boyd?
In full PPR, I'm going Boyd. Foreman at home has...
Yeah, Foreman's... Continue your point. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
Foreman at home is pretty good. You feel pretty good about that. Denver's defense is a tougher matchup by the numbers. Denver's pretty good at stopping the run. I think I would go Boyd here, but Foreman should be fine. Like, I don't think either one of these guys duds out.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that.
So but I would probably play Boyd in full PPR, just by the nature of the scoring. But Foreman is fine if you're sitting there thinking to yourself I want to play Foreman. Like, if you want to play Foreman and you're just looking for an opinion, then play Foreman. I think I would personally play Boyd. And
Rico, I would just go with Moreau. He's got TE1 upside. He's a TE1. As long as Waller is out, he's a TE1. It doesn't have TE1 upside. He's a TE1. Just a mid to low end one.
Lower end. He didn't have the but it's a great matchup by the numbers. He didn't have a huge game last game. Only one catch. It was not 40 yards. It was 33. He's got 40 catches. If he gets 40 yards and a touchdown, you won. And in this matchup, he should be fine. And
just to throw it in there, he has not had a game this year outside of week 1 when Waller was the clear-cut number 1 and all the way healthy. He hasn't had a target total below 4. Mm-hmm. So expect a little bit of a bounce back this week too. But Greg Z, in another league, Perrine or Sanders?
Sanders. Yeah, play the dude who is the starter, and it is, for what it's worth, it's a pretty tough matchup for P. Ryan. Titans are pretty good against the run. I mean, he's going to get plenty of work, but you can't possibly expect a 3 touchdown performance. Not that you were, but just saying he's gonna, he might score. Could be rough sledding in a tougher matchup.
And Sanders is a guy that I'm just going to keep rolling out there. I know he said he's coming off 2 bad weeks, but I mean, the offense that he's playing in, I'm just going to keep going back to that, I think.
Yeah, and it's a good matchup by the numbers at home. Green Bay has not been very good against the run.
And then 2 wide receivers, Sutton, Mooney, Garrett Wilson, Palmer, Cooks, London. I'm going Sutton and Palmer here.
I agree.
Everybody else has question marks.
Yep.
I like London this week and moving forward with no Pitts. I think he's got his floor back and maybe his ceiling, but this week, Palmer coming off of the week that he had last week, and then Sutton, no Judy. The answer's pretty cut and dry.
London's also got weather concerns.
True.
Mooney doesn't have a quarterback. Garrett Wilson also doesn't have a quarterback, and neither does Brandon Cooks. Sutton and Palmer. Well, Sutton doesn't have a quarterback either, but at least he's better than these guys.
And Chris has a must-win game to stay in first. Start 1 out with a wide receiver 2 spot, half PPR. Sutton, Pickens, or Boyd. Sutton's the floor play, but I don't think I'm going there with those other 2 options. It's tough between Boyd and Pickens.
I
think I'd just go Boyd.
You have to start one of these guys, right?
I think I'd just go Boyd. It's a safe
over
option.
Sutton?
Over Sutton, over Pickens. Tennessee versus Carolina fantasy points
Sutton is
against. Let me
definitely
take a
volatile,
look at fantasy points against real quick.
But Sutton should be fine with no Judy. That's when he's actually, that's when you can rely on Sutton, when Judy's not in the lineup.
Yeah. Yep.
I think I might just go Sutton.
Fantasy points against.
While you're looking that up, MJ had a couple other questions.
Go for it.
That I think we may have skipped over. Pick one between Waddle, Evans, or Kirk. Man, you can't play both Waddle and Evans. I guess Waddle, because Evans will have weather to deal with, but I gotta play both of those guys if I can. Would the Davis Mills stack be sneaky? Maybe if he was playing. It's Kyle Allen is starting for Houston, MJ. Davis Mills to the bench. Don't put Davis Mills in anywhere.
Nope.
For anything. He is firmly the backup, at least for this week. Were you looking something up?
You said he had another question there, MJ?
It was those two. Those two.
Okay.
Waddle or Evans. I guess you can't play both. I guess Waddle, because he doesn't have weather to deal with, and also he has been better this year.
Okay. The Titans give up the third most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. So I'm playing
spectacular matchup for Boyd.
I'm playing Boyd over Sutton.
It's middle of the. It's not a bad matchup for Sutton. It's not like it's a brutal one.
But they do have better cornerbacks, and they do have a better secondary.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm playing Boyd.
Okay. Yeah, if you're must win, then sure. I mean, yeah. If you're somebody, I feel like a lot of people like to see good matchups, right? Favorable matchups. Play the guy in the favorable matchup with the much better quarterback, by the way.
Yes.
That's always another equalizer for me. Like, do I want a dude catching passes from Joe Burrow or from 2022 Russell Wilson?
Yeah. Yep.
Enough said.
And then Rico, you got a chance to pick up Deshaun Watson, but the catch is you would have to drop Justin Fields, and your main QB is Burrow.
No, you're not gonna play Watson over Burrow.
I think you don't have IR spots. I'm guessing. In a 1 QB league, I'm not rostering 2 QBs when you're getting this close to the playoffs.
Hell no. Because you picked up Fields and because of the heater he's on, this is a scenario where you can definitely be, where you can definitely end up with 2 quarterbacks, especially when Burrow, I think, had a recent bye week. So I understand in this scenario.
No, I was gonna say I'm not dropping Fields until I hear the news that he's gonna be on a multi-game absence.
And I'm not dropping Fields anyway.
For Watson, no.
For Watson when I have Burrow. Because Watson's not playing over Burrow.
And yeah, Fields is your lottery ticket you're willing to hold on to. Watson,
exactly.
I think he gets back to being a top 5, top 6 QB, but I don't know how much time and that is going to take.
Yeah.
We have to see. So I'm holding Justin Fields until I hear the news that I don't need to hold him anymore because he's out. Then I'm just cutting him and not picking up a secondary QB.
No, because I have Burrow.
But if Fields comes back, I'm still fine with playing Fields over Burrow unless I have a stack that I really want to preserve.
Sure.
And thoughts on Rachaad White rest of the season? Go for it. I know that's your dude.
Is he a potential league winner? I don't think we can go there quite yet, just because I don't know when. We have to. Fournette will come back, presumably. He might be a week winner tomorrow. And if Fournette can't go in week 13, or Rachaad White might be a week winner week 13. I don't know if he's a league winner yet, but I love the talent. Probably by any metric, the best pure pass catching running back from this rookie running back class.
Yep. Yeah, we said that all off season, and nothing has happened this year to sway that. So yep.
No.
Cali Loco with the defense question. In terms of looking ahead to the playoffs, we can look at their schedule. Indy for next week. Pittsburgh's not a bad opponent. It's not an opponent to stray away from. Yeah. But and if that's the only option you have is the Indianapolis Colts, then you got to roll with it. But they're not the strongest option either. And In terms of Cleveland, we've spoken about that. I wouldn't go strictly off of schedule. It's a balance of the schedule for the playoffs and the overall caliber of the defense. Like, if Houston has the best schedule, I'm not going after Houston. You got to find a middle ground.
Yeah, I mean, Houston is absolutely an offense to target, but Cleveland has completely fallen short and fallen flat of expectations on their defense.
Yeah. I wasn't speaking on Houston's offense. I was speaking on Houston's defense.
Wow.
For the looking ahead to the playoff schedule, because the
no,
question's there about the playoff
was
schedule.
Cleveland at Houston.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I was using Houston as an example to why I'm not chasing a bad defense just for the playoff schedule. I'm sorry, I didn't.
Okay, got it.
See that there?
Got it. Yeah. No, I mean, Cleveland's fine for Houston, but they've also, they're not as good as we thought they would be.
No. Nope.
We'll see.
In terms of their playoff schedule, it's Ravens, Saints, Commanders. So, to me, no, that's not a defense to really chase based off of their schedule either.
Nah.
So keep looking out for some more, for some other options. Rohan Badranath, good to see you. Olave or Godwin PPR league. Are you swerving to Olave because of the weather?
No, I think I have to play Godwin. I think I love Olave, but I mean, I think I gotta play Godwin. They'll, 15 mile per hour winds isn't going to affect short throws.
Yeah, true. The Olave connection should be safe.
Yeah, I think despite the bad weather, I think I would personally play Godwin. If you're worried about the bad weather, which if you're not totally familiar with, Godwin's in Cleveland tomorrow. They're expecting 15 to 20 mile per hour winds and some rain in the forecast. So little hairy, little less than ideal. But Godwin is
he's a wide receiver one.
Yeah, he's a wide receiver one any given week on volume.
Yep.
So yeah, I think I gotta go Godwin.
Agreed. And Trey S, evening to you too. Full PPR. You got CMC, and I would go ETN and Jeff Wilson because I think they're RB1s this week, and Rachaad White is kind of an high-end RB2 with RB1 upside. ETN with no real running mate is an RB1 to me this week. Jeff Wilson with no running mate is an RB1 for me this week. Because it sucks not to have to play Rachaad White, but...
Yeah, because it's full PPR, I think I'm playing ETN. If it was half PPR or standard, I think I might say Rachaad White, but it's not. It's full PPR. I think Rachaad White has, like RB 12 to 15 potential. And because of the matchup and the situation with the weather, upside for more. Again, for this week. I do like Rachaad White as a potential swing for the fences play over ETN, but I'm probably just going to play ETN. And Jeff Wilson Jeff Wilson, I think, needs to be in the lineup because of it's Houston.
And yeah, it's a good problem to have. But yeah, you got to choose 3 out of the 4. So there's got to be an odd man out in this week. Even though I really want to go out of my way to play Rachaad White, based off of the other 3 options that you have ahead of him, I think I just need to go with those other 3 options. But I hope that helped, Trey. Itty Bitty South City says Lazard has Slay this week. True.
Yeah.
But those targets, dude. Those target allocations the last 3 weeks.
Right. He's going to get looks. And look, I like Darius Slay. He's having a great year. Terry McLaurin got him the last time the Eagles played at home in primetime a couple weeks ago. Terry McLaurin got him 8 for like 130 or something like that. Not saying Lazard has Terry McLaurin's upside, but I mean, Slay can be had. He might be that dude who can shut down a guy like Alan Lazard, but I think I got to roll with the volume that Lazard should get. And it's possible, like, if Watson starts doing well, it's possible they put Slay on Watson.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, who's to say? Slay is a shadow corner. Like, he will follow guys. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, he follows guys. He does. He follows
He
guys.
doesn't just play on the right side of the formation or something
No,
like that.
I'm pretty sure he follows guys. So if Watson is playing well, they might put before Slay gets a shot at him, they might put Slay on Watson. So no, I'm not worried too much about that, especially because you expect games. I mean, how do we expect that game to go? I think it's fair to say the Eagles are the better team, and we expect the Eagles to be winning that game. Even if they're not, the Packers have to stay aggressive on the road in a tough matchup. They're going to have to throw.
And really, prior to the last 2 weeks, Lazard was on a tear.
And Lazard's been good. That's the
right.
Lazard himself has been good.
So I'm not. Yeah, Lazard is fine this week as a play.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I like Slay. He deserves the respect of one of the upper echelon, one of the top corners in this league. But Lazard's been producing. I think you gotta play him.
Yep. Now, there was some news, if I remember correctly, that Aaron Rodgers is dealing with a broken finger or a broken
he said he
something.
Broke his thumb. I think he said he broke his thumb, like, I don't know, back in week 5 or 6, something like that.
So I mean,
still out there.
Yeah. So, but you're
time from it.
I think Lazard is a wide receiver 2 this week. He just might not have the ceiling of some of the weeks that he's had in there, where he really hit his ceiling. Cali Loco, does Sky Moore or tight end Trey McBride break out this week and finish as a usable players? You just went over Sky Moore finished as a borderline usable player last week. And
yeah, he did.
More
he did.
absences this week, so I think Sky Moore is playable. And Trey McBride, all he needs to do is fall into the end zone.
Yeah.
To make him a tight end 1. That's how bad the situation is with tight ends this year. If you score a touchdown and you get more than 9 points, you're a tight end 1.
Mm-hmm.
So he can finish as a usable play this week.
Yep.
Brandy, in terms of McBride or Dulcich, clear winner Dulcich, especially in PPR, because with McBride, you're hoping he catches one ball and falls into the end zone. With Dulcich, he's more of a PPR option, plus he has that touchdown upside, especially with no Judy. And then for that defense question, Steelers defense versus Indianapolis or Ravens defense versus Jacksonville. I mean, Steelers D does have TJ Watt back.
Yeah, they do.
And that is a factor, but the Ravens have been good lately. So I think I go with the Ravens.
Yeah, probably Baltimore.
And for what it's worth, Baltimore's schedule in the playoffs is a good one.
I think it's pretty good. Yeah. Although I think I will say Baltimore, both of these teams are on the road. So just I always like to call that out. Like both of these teams are on the road. So you expect the Colts and Jonathan Taylor to run the ball well at home.
Excuse me.
I guess the Ravens, I think I trust them a little bit more, even with TJ Watt back.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then thoughts on Julio, itty bitty?
With the caveat if he's able to stay healthy. I mean, yeah,
wide receiver 4 with TD upside.
Yeah, he's touchdown dependent wide receiver 3.
Yeah.
And it's again, it's going to be tough tomorrow with in the elements. It's not just not saying just because it's raining out or it's windy that guys can't perform, that guys can't deliver, that guys can't come through. But you feel better about guys in normal or not normal, but just good conditions, good weather conditions. You feel better about that.
Yep.
I'd rather it be cold than it just be straight windy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, with rain there as maybe a factor too. I don't know. Yeah. There was rain being a factor there, right? You said that Cleveland, earlier on. Yep. Or later on into the game, they could.
Wind is gonna pick up into the game between the Bucs and the Browns.
Yeah. Rico, who would you rather have, Burks or Pickens? You got a feeling Burks is going to explode moving forward. I mean, Pickens has been. So I'm rolling with the guy who has been. Burks has a little bit better of a QB, I think, and less competition for targets.
Right.
But I really like what Pickens has been doing pretty much all year. Burks is coming off of one good game.
Yeah.
So to me, edge the guy that's been doing it all year.
Slight edge to Pickens. Burks is making that question interesting, though.
Yes, absolutely. Thoughts on Samaje Perine? What's his expected floor or ceiling? Floor of a volume-based RB2, ceiling of a low-end RB1, but I don't know if I'm betting on that because you said the matchup is tough.
The Titans are pretty good against the run.
Yeah,
it's a tough. They're a good run. They have a great defensive line. The Titans do, even with some of the injuries they've sustained. Who'd they lose? Was it Bud Dupree?
Yes.
He used to be on the Steelers. I think he's on the Titans now. I'm pretty sure.
And they lost him. Yep.
They lost him, and then I think they lost whoever their leading sack guy was from last year, like at the start of the season. So they really look behind the eight ball, and they are fine. They've been very good on the defensive line, and it's translated into really good run defense. So that being said, Pirine is the dude on third downs anyway, even when Mixon is in the game. So he's still a threat to catch passes. Yeah, I would say I would put him probably around, somewhere in the RB. If I had to rank the running backs, somewhere in the RB 14 to 16 range for this week. Matchup's not great, but volume's gonna come. He's in a good offense, right? Anytime you're attached to Joe Burrow, you feel good about those players. And again, Mixon's out. No Jamar Chase for whatever that's worth. He's gonna get work.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of historical situations with him to fall back on, with him in the lead role. But last week, he was the RB2 on a 70% snap share.
Right.
So he can be an RB1. But I think he's more of a volume-based RB2. You look at what he did in the game, his one game prior to last game, having more than a 50% snap share, and that was 2021 week 5, 61% of snaps, 11 for 59, and 4 of 5 for 24 yards and a touchdown through the air. And yeah, I mean, he was volume-based RB2. So I think he's a volume-based RB2, but he does have RB1 upside because he plays in a great offense.
Yeah.
I don't know if he reaches that this game, though.
As far as the touchdowns, he came through on some crazy, 4 catches, 52 yards, scored on 3 of those 4 catches. He's not doing that again. But he can give you like a 15. He can give you 15 points in half PPR.
Yeah, and they can't really rely on Chris Evans. So Perine's getting all the work.
He's gonna get most of it. Yeah, if not, damn near all of it.
Yeah.
Evans might mix it a little bit, but yeah.
I'd be playing Perine over guys like Donta Foreman and stuff. Over guys like, am I going Perine over like a Miles Sanders?
No, because we said earlier. Sanders
I just
been there doing that.
Now I'm kind of rethinking it.
I think I'd still play Sanders.
Sanders, he's been solid, but hasn't had the upside that Perine showed just last week.
Yeah, I don't think I'm
tough.
chasing that when it comes to Sanders.
True. So yeah, gave me some pause, but yeah.
No, but he's fine to fire up tomorrow.
Yeah.
P. Ryan is. Yeah, he's fine to fire up tomorrow. MJ, we got to your DFS questions. Hopefully that helps. And you're welcome.
Then we got some non-PPR questions from Brett here. RB2, wide receiver 2 in the flex open. Perine, Gibson, Foreman, Palmer, Christian Watson, Pickens. And in the tight end, Komet or stream Fant, Thomas Hurst, Gesicki, or Ingram.
I'd probably stream Hurst with no Chase just to get the tight end question out of the way. Probably stream Hurst with no Chase, and Komet is downfields. As far as the RB2, I would go Pirine over Gibson just because that backfield is hard to predict.
Yep.
It could be Gibson, it could be Robinson, it could be sort of both, it could be neither. At least I know Pirine's going to be the guy tomorrow, and Foreman is too, but obviously Bengals better than the Panthers. So Samaje for my RB2. For my wide receiver 2, I am sticking with Palmer with no Mike Williams, and the matchup is really good by the numbers.
Yeah, he's their deep threat. 2 touchdowns last week. I'm going back to that.
It's decent by the numbers. It's not great by the numbers, excuse me. But I mean, he's proven he can't. You don't want Palmer as your wide receiver 1, but if he's your wide receiver 2, you're just fine as an offense. And with a guy like Herbert, yeah, I'm rocking with him.
And then flex.
Oh, and the flex. In non-PPR,
I think I'm going Gibson. RB15 the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, Gibby.
I think I'm going Gibson over Foreman.
Yeah, I guess Gibson.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Yep. I hope that helps, Brett. Thanks for the question.
Yeah, I hope that helps.
Chuck, man, you driving? Hey, stay safe on them
What's
roads.
up, Chuck? Yep, stay safe out there. But as far as Pirine, Gus, or Sanders, I think we kind of... Yeah,
Sanders.
I think John is even now begrudgingly saying Sanders versus Samaje. I think you got to go with Sanders. Yes, the Bengals, you could probably argue, are the better overall offense compared to the Eagles, but the Eagles are the superior rushing offense. I'm willing to rock with Sanders in a game where I expect them to win, which means they should be running the ball. Which means Sanders gets more involved at home in a good matchup. The Packers are not good against opposing running backs for fantasy purposes.
Here's
Titans
my dilemma, or the discussion I want to have between these two players. I think Sanders is a little bit more boom bust, where I think Perrine, with the workload that he's going to be getting, I think he's more of the safe option. And that's where I have a little some question marks with who to go with here. So I'm going to say Sanders is the high upside option. But he can also bust for you if you want to go for just the safe option. I do think Perrine is a safer option. Not that Sanders will give you nothing, but the last 2 weeks, RB36 and RB38. I don't think that Perrine will give you RB36 or RB38 week.
Okay.
But Sanders can get you an RB3 week, an RB8 week, an RB11 week. He's done that this year.
Yeah.
But he's also given you RB48 week, RB38 week. So just a little bit more variance in there. But I like Sanders a lot.
Sanders is the upside play if it's like a must-win situation and you need the big play potential. Pirine is the volume-based RB2 who should be fine. Still has RB1 upside, but it is a tougher matchup by the numbers, by a decent margin between the two in Sanders' favor.
Yep. And then, I mean, between Pierce and Rachaad White, blurry face, 420,
blurry face,
full PPR in your flex. I think in this situation, I'm going Rachaad White.
I'm going Rachaad White. It's a more reliable offense. The Bucs haven't been great, and they're not very good running the ball, but at least it's Brady as opposed to Kyle Allen. On the road against Miami, who are pretty decent against the run. We saw Pierce's floor last week. I think White is the floor and ceiling play this week between the two of them.
Yep.
With no Fournette, yeah, and full PPR. Rachaad White can't catch the ball. Yeah, I'm playing White.
Yep. Mitchell Benkowski, 12 team superflex. Trevor Lawrence, Fields, Jimmy G.
Yes, put Fields on the bench. You got to play Lawrence and Jimmy G.
Yeah, it's superflex. So yeah, Jimmy G and Law.
Yeah, yep. Fields is looking unlikely to play, so you can bench him for those two guys. Yep.
And George Cook, thanks for joining us. Pick
What's up,
2
George?
half PPR. Evans, Pierce, AJ Brown. Which Evans? But I think that's Mike Evans.
It's got to be Mike Evans.
Yeah, both are the wide receivers.
Yep. If it's Mike Evans, which I assume it is, both of those wide receivers. Yes.
And if it's really any other Evans, I'd throw Pierce in there with AJ
Chris
Brown.
Evans, then yeah, you throw Pierce in there.
Dylan McKee, Foreman, or Patterson? Patterson with no pits. I mean,
Patterson, yeah.
He can get it done on through punt returns too. Like he's real close to an every week starter in my lineups if I have Patterson.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a great matchup by the numbers. But yeah, Foreman is a floor play. Patterson is a ceiling play. But I would say Foreman's floor is maybe tomorrow stronger than Patterson's.
Yeah. I'm shooting for that upside if I have Patterson.
If you I mean, if you need the upside Patterson, if you think you're in good shape, I would probably just play Foreman and take the 10 points.
And Tim, I would go Christian Watson here because Garrett Wilson has to deal with the fact that there's a QB change and Corey Davis is coming back. And last time Corey Davis was in the lineup, Corey Davis was the most productive wide receiver in this offense. And we've seen Elijah Moore get a little bit more usage in recent weeks. We've seen Denzel Mims be a part of this offense.
Yeah.
So Christian Watson.
Yeah. Watson. And MJ, happy to keep you informed, man.
Yep. Daniel
It's
Marat.
fair that you don't keep up with Houston.
True. For the RB spot, Montgomery or Rashad White, and for the flex, Godwin or Keenan Allen. Godwin, I think.
Man, I don't want to sit Keenan, but
I think I'd still go Godwin.
I guess I go Godwin. If you prefer, man, I think I say, you know what? I might say slight edge to Keenan because he's in a dome with no conditions to deal with.
And then my other question, I guess, Keenan's fine.
It's tough.
Who are your other wide receivers that you're playing, Keenan or Godwin in your flex?
Right.
Give us your whole roster here, and we can make a decision for that.
And between Montgomery and Rashad White, I think I'm actually going Rashad White. I mean, Montgomery's going to get plenty of volume, but it's not a great matchup, and he's probably going to be Trevor Simeon's probably going to be his quarterback. Montgomery might fall into the end zone because he gets 25 touches, but man,
Montgomery and Perrine
I like White's upside tomorrow.
Yeah, they're kind of on the same wavelength there, where they're volume-based RB2s with RB1 upside, but mostly just volume-based RB2s.
White's got this. Rashad has the significantly better matchup on paper.
He's the ceiling play.
Yeah.
So I think I'd just go White. But throw your whole roster in the chat, and we can help you out with that flex question, or at least figure out your whole wide receiver situation. Liam Beck, is good to see you. Have PPR.
Up,
Start one: Latavius Murray, Juju Pacheco, Hollywood, or DJ Moore.
Yeah, so I grappled with Pacheco versus Latavius Murray earlier. I'm not sure I'm any more figured out on this.
But you made the distinction between have PPR and PPR when you were making that point about Pacheco or Lat. And didn't you say Pacheco, standard, Lat, any PPR format?
Latavius does feel like a slightly safer bet to catch passes. The matchup is better by the numbers, but Pacheco should be in a great spot tomorrow himself. I think because in the past few games, 7 catches for Latavius Murray the past 2 weeks combined. He has at least one catch dating back his last 3 games played. Actually, his last 4 games played. Not that one catch is a whole lot, but it's good to note, like 3 targets, 2 targets, 3 targets, 4 targets. It's probably should go up to around 5 targets floor with Melvin Gordon out of the picture.
Then no Judy for another week. Yep.
No Judy for another week. I really like Pacheco tomorrow. I do, but Clyde Edwards-Helaire wasn't playing a ton anyway at this point. I mean, him getting injured in the game obviously, opened the door for even more work, but McKinnon takes a lot of snaps. I don't know that Marlon Mack is going to take that many snaps from Latavius Murray.
Yeah, I mean, considering it's a PPR, and I do expect 5 targets or something for Murray.
Yeah,
I guess I see it in half PPR and PPR. But Murray isn't an efficient running back at this stage.
No,
he's
not.
Purely a volume-based guy, but he has some PPR asset to his name.
Right.
Pacheco really isn't used in the pass game at all.
I gotta
and that was not part of his college resume either. He was a rusher.
Yeah,
primarily.
He had one catch last week, 2 catches back in week 6. He has 3 or something.
Had a catch last week?
Pacheco had his last catch came back in week 9.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, he hasn't caught a ball since week 9. He has 3 catches on the season.
In any game where he has more than 8 attempts, he has no targets.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Lat Murray is the play, and I gotta swerve off of my endorsement for Pacheco there earlier on.
Yeah, Latavius Murray. Yeah, I'm very intrigued by Pacheco, but he's more of a floor play, I think, than a ceiling play. I think Murray is safer, potentially with a higher ceiling because of the volume. Pacheco cedes work and snaps to McKinnon.
And yeah, the distinction for me is just the format you're playing in. If it was standard, I would
I'm going
much rather
Lat.
Pacheco. But
I'm going Lat Murray.
Yep, Lat. Lucius, start
Lucius?
ETN or Miles Sanders half PPR. I'm going ETN.
ETN here. Yeah, I think that's fair. He feels safer. Not a great matchup by the numbers, but that's okay. Anytime you see a bad matchup for a running back, if that running back can catch the ball, it's negligible. The bad matchup is negligible. Baltimore is a bottom 6 matchup for running backs. It is a difficult matchup for opposing running backs. But when you catch the ball like ETN does at the level that ETN can do it, that becomes negligible. And he's had the ceiling games that Miles Sanders hasn't.
Yep.
Plus, he's coming off his bye week. He's a little more rested, right? Yeah, ETN.
ETN. And Blue Crew, Rondale Moore is out for next week, so just Treylon Burks.
Burks, yep. Rondale's not playing. Thanks, Blue Crew.
And should be a decent wide receiver 3 with some wide receiver 2 upside.
Sure.
And yes, thank you very much, Blue Crew. Thank you very much, Trey. Lucius, DPJ, Gus Edwards, or Treylon Burks start 1. We spoke earlier on in the live stream about maybe this is not the week you go Donovan Peoples-Jones because of the weather they're dealing with out there, or will be dealing with out there for the game that they're playing on Sunday. So I think I just go Treylon Burks because Gus Edwards, I believe, is questionable as well. And
it sounds like he's going to play, sounds like he's going to play, but he's risky on the injury report. Still has the questionable tag on. I like Gus tomorrow as long as he plays, but he's a little bit more risky. Burks is much safer.
Yep. So I'm going Burks.
Burks.
And Jeff Johnson, who to flex this
Jeff?
week? Palmer, Hollywood, Rashad White, or Latavius Murray? What's your format?
Yeah, the format would help here, but I think I honestly might go Rashad White.
Okay.
Rashad White.
I don't hate that. So
has Cleveland is a bottom is a top 2 matchup for opposing running backs up there with Houston, right? You know how we always see it's Houston, fire them up. We have to be doing the same thing with Cleveland. We have to. They can't stop anything. I would go Rashad White with no Lenny.
Yeah, I mean, you look at what happened to the Cleveland when the Bills played them. James Cook had a career day where he rushed, I think, 10 times and had 80 yards. So, yeah, I think I'll go Rashad White. I think all these guys are pretty sandwiched close together in terms of, if I were to have rankings. But I think Ed Rashad White for the ceiling.
Cleveland has allowed the 2nd most fantasy points per game to opposing running backs.
Rashad.
Wheels up on Rashad White. Wheels up on Rashad White.
And King Marcelo need 3 wide receivers and 1 flex. Debo, Godwin, Marquise Brown, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Pickens, Palmer, Donta Foreman, and Isaiah Pacheco, or Sky Moore.
Or Sky. 3 receivers, 1 flex. Debo.
Godwin.
Well, Debo, as long as he plays, you can pivot to... you should be able to pivot to somebody else. Godwin has to be in for me.
And Palmer has to be in for me.
Palmer has to be in for me. Debo, if he can go. Pickens, if he can. I would play Pickens over Marquise Brown for just this week.
Yes.
Okay, King. Godwin is in. Palmer is in. I'm waiting a week on Marquise Brown personally. You're putting Debo in if he's active. If he's not, I'm swerving to Pickens. I am playing both Palmer and Pickens over Marquise Brown for just this week. As far as your flex, Pacheco. I think I would go Pacheco over Foreman.
And I gotta be consistent, I guess. I said Pickens, or I said Marquise Brown over Pickens earlier on. This is PPR. Marquise Brown, now with no DeAndre Hopkins, was getting an insane amount of targets. Don't expect that, but there are 4 main pieces in this offense that will be out. Players that were hyper-targeted in their own right. Greg Dortch last week was hyper-targeted. Before that, Rondale Moore has been hyper-targeted. Those 2 guys are out of that offense. Maybe Marquise sees a little bit more work than he normally would coming off of an injury. So I think I'm going Marquise Brown there over Pickens, but basically everything else I agree with. So in the case that Debo doesn't go, I'm going Brown over Pickens, but Nick is going Pickens over Brown.
I'm waiting a week on Hollywood. John is ready to roll with him if needed.
Yep. Interesting factoid.
Would you go Pacheco in the flex?
What's that?
Would you go Pacheco in the flex?
Or
are you going Marquise Brown over Pacheco if let's say Debo's active?
In PPR, because you're either hoping for a touchdown or he goes over 100 yards, and even if he goes over 100 yards, Pacheco, he's still giving you, decent week, but like 13 points.
Yeah.
I'm shooting for a higher upside than that, and the PPR is a big distinction for me there.
Okay. There you go.
Interesting factoid. Should I play Sutton or Rachaad White at the flex? Rachaad White.
I'm going Rachaad White, man. I'll just paint with a broad brush. I mean, again, Rachaad White is going up against a Browns defense, giving up the second most fantasy points to running backs on the season, and Leonard Fournette is out. Yeah. I think I would rank Rachaad White as a top 12 running back this week. I think I would.
He's close.
Maybe I'm getting a little too
like 14 for me. So
maybe I'm getting a little gung ho, but like the opportunity is right there.
Yeah. And then between Dulcich or Taysom, I'm playing Dulcich. Taysom is so hit or miss. Yes, he does have like his packages in that offense on game day. Dulcich, we spoke about it before. His usage is elite. He is getting utilized on the field at an elite rate. It's just the QB sucks. Which is why we've seen floor plays or floor box scores from Dulcich for the past few weeks. But if they just start connecting on anything with no Judy, with no Melvin Gordon, who was the pass catcher in the short into intermediate part of the field, yes, we expect some of that to go to that. But I'm still rolling with Dulcich, dude. I think Dulcich, with how bad the tight end position is this year, I think Dulcich is still a low-end tight end one, even with the struggles he's had the last few weeks.
Dulcich is playing 85% of the snaps. Taysom, let's call him what he is. He's a gimmick player who can, he can hurt you, but the 49ers have a good defense. I wouldn't bet against Taysom being able to run around and do whatever he wants to against a good defense like San Francisco's.
Yep.
On the road, out of the dome. Dulcich.
Yep. And Michael Bernardo, non-PPR, need to sit one. Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen, T. Higgins. That's a tough decision I have to make. Also, Jeff Wilson or Rachaad White this week. Jeff Wilson for me.
Over Rachaad.
But I want to be playing Rachaad too, but it's Jeff Wilson for me.
Yeah, Jeff Wilson, especially since it's standard, that's fine. I guess since it's standard, I would sit Keenan Allen. Play Cooper and T. Higgins.
Yeah.
T. Higgins is an auto start, even if Jamar Chase is playing, but Jamar Chase is out, so you already know. I would play Higgins and Cooper.
And Amari's been a kind of a revelation this year,
and he's been money at home.
Yeah,
been money at home. I know the weather's supposed to stink tomorrow, but sometimes I just gotta rock with trends. And Cooper has been killing it when the Browns play at home this year.
I mean, I don't want to be not playing Allen with no Williams.
Look, it's a tough. You got to sit one, and you're sitting a wide receiver one. It's like pick your poison. I think, because it's non-PPR, Keenan Allen is the guy who is a little less enticing for me. I mean,
yeah,
you could sit Amari Cooper, but I think Cooper has more upside despite the bad weather.
I mean, looking at the box scores for the past few weeks, Amari Cooper hasn't been as consistent as I guess I thought, but the usage is as consistent as you can get.
The usage is good, and he's been good at home.
Yeah.
He's been good at home.
Yeah. So, sit Allen, because you have to sit one of those guys. So it's going to be a tough decision.
Cooper's worst game in Cleveland this year was 4 catches for 44 yards and a touchdown. That was his worst game in Cleveland. So I guess it might be that again tomorrow, potentially. But I'll rock with Cooper.
Yeah.
Personally. And Wilson over Rashad is fine, even though it sucks that you have to sit 2 really good players.
And Slim, your best guess is as good as mine. I would think it's Lazard because he is the de facto number 1, but it could go either way depending on how the game's going and depending on how the Packers line up.
Yeah, Slay might get Watson right away. He might move over to him if Watson starts hurting the Eagles. I think they'll be reactionary to whoever starts playing well for the Packers. If Watson catches a bomb or starts making some plays, Slay might, maybe Slay doesn't start on him, but he ends up on him. I could see that scenario playing out where maybe Slay gets Lazard first, Bradbury gets Watson first, and if Watson starts making plays, Slay moves over to him. We'll see.
And George Cook, would you rather have the Colts defense or the Steelers defense in that matchup? Excuse me. Now, the Colts give up more points to opposing defenses, and TJ Watt is back. So I would rather have the Steelers if I'm choosing between the Steelers and the Colts. Not that the Indianapolis Colts is a bad matchup for the opposing defense or offense or defense as well. Steelers are giving up the 6th most fantasy points to opposing defenses, but they did that for the majority of the year without TJ Watt. Now they got Watt back. It is a completely different defense when he's in there. So I think I just go Pittsburgh over Indy as the edge.
There you go.
Slim Evans, a good pass catching running back. No, he's actually not. He's actually not.
It's not.
He's actually not. No.
Yeah, here's the thing. I don't know if we're going to find that out because Samaje is a good pass catching back. He's going to, I think, continue. I think Evans is more likely to mix in on 1st and 2nd down. Not 3rd down.
Yeah, and I think Evans is coming off of an injury too.
Yeah, he was recently. Yeah, he was recently on the injury report with a knee.
Yeah, but no, Evans has been a healthy scratch, and that's been without having Jamar Chase for the last multiple games, where maybe you would see him a little bit more.
Yeah,
he's not that great of a play.
He had 1 catch for 26 yards earlier this season. That was pretty good. That's a good play against Cleveland, by the way. But yeah, there's just so little to go off of,
Yeah.
And again, Samaje's good. Samaje's the 3rd down back when Joe Mixon is healthy, so he's going to stay the 3rd down back tomorrow.
Yeah, everybody who was playing in a dynasty league thought that Chris Evans was going to be the RB2 in this offense for this season, and it just has not been that way at all.
Didn't materialize that way. Samaje's a good vet, good player.
Yep. Kyrie just got offered a trade. He'll give you Mike Evans for T. Higgins.
No.
I would not do that.
No. Keep T. Higgins. No.
Yeah.
Even when Jamar Chase is coming back healthy, Higgins has put up wide receiver 1 numbers. I want to keep T. Higgins.
Yeah, when Chase comes back, Higgins and Mike Evans are pretty close to each other. But the fact is that Chase isn't back yet.
And even
so
when
edge
he's
Higgins.
back, Higgins even when Chase comes back.
Yeah, younger guy, better offense, better QB. Yep.
And has been better himself. So yeah.
And Yeef, good to see you. Kenneth
What's up,
Walker or Brady in the Superflex spot in PPR.
Ooh. Walker?
Man.
Maybe Walker.
Yeah,
Brady's got a higher floor because he's a quarterback.
I'm willing to risk it and play Walker.
I think I'm playing Walker.
Yep.
I think I'm playing Walker. Dang, you must have some good running backs or good flex options for Walker to be considered here. If that's the case, I feel fine about playing Walker. If I've got like studs at the running back position or in my flex spots. Yeah, Walker.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the point totals over the past few weeks for Walker. Yeah, he has a 10-point floor, which is not something that Brady has. Brady has a floor around 14, 15. But Brady also has a ceiling around 19.
18, 19.
This year.
Yeah.
Kenneth Walker in the last 4 games has 2 games where he scored at least 26 points, one of which was a 28-point outing in half PPR. I'm just going Kenneth Walker. The floor really isn't that different, but the ceiling is.
Aren't they playing Vegas too?
Yes.
The Seahawks at home,
Yep.
coming off a bye week. That's a beautiful matchup.
Yeah. Walker, man.
It's a great matchup for Brady, though, because, again, he's playing Cleveland. But I would go Walker.
And George picked 2, Metcalf, Evans, and Pickens. I think I'd just go with the first 2.
The first 2.
Yep.
Yeah, play your stud. I mean, Pickens is really good. We can't call him a stud yet. Play your studs. Metcalf and Evans are there.
And Slim, I think you're making another point about Chris Evans. I mean,
I don't know.
Or Mike Evans. Well, I don't know.
But
or Captain America.
Yeah. But between Gus and Foreman, I think I'd go Foreman. He's the healthy guy.
And
Edwards
has had the boom weeks. A couple of outings there to begin the season. To begin his starting tenure. Not the season.
And they have, they've a couple of those games came against Atlanta, but one was against Tampa at home in McCaffrey's first, in the first game since after the Panthers traded McCaffrey. Foreman had 15 carries for 118 yards, chipped in 2 catches for 27 yards. That was at home in a tough matchup. So you feel fine about Foreman in neutral game scripts, even when the matchup's not as good, because Denver's not going to blow the Panthers out.
Yeah.
Panthers could win that game, let's be real.
They could. They've been scrappy.
Foreman.
And Slim, without Chase, I don't think it really matters. I think the issue is without Mixon, maybe. But without Chase, he's still his highest snap total over the last few games is 4% of snaps. So yeah, I'm not in on Evans as a dart throw. Just not.
Nah, I mean he's a long shot dart throw.
And I think there are better ones out there.
Yeah, but P. Ryan's going to get the third. I would expect continue to get the third down work because that's his role anyway. I think Evans can mix in, and maybe he gets some carries on first and second down. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out.
And Daniel, you have St. Brown and CD, so that's why you have to make the choice between Godwin and Keenan Allen in the flex.
Okay.
Gotcha.
I think I said Godwin, or was that because
St. Brown already played and CD already played too.
Right. So and both had really good outings. So
yep.
I would play Godwin and roll the dice on. Roll the dice on. Well, I guess what I think right now currently is the better player. Maybe not by much, but.
And definitely roll with Rashad White in your running back.
Dalvin's really good.
Yep. Rashad White is the RB2 and Dalvin already played. All right.
Yep. You're good.
Cali Loco, thoughts on Michael Carter versus Chicago PPR? You think he gets unlocked with the dump off King Mike White? Yeah,
sure.
Yeah,
sure. It's a great matchup. It's a great matchup by the numbers. The Bears are not very good against opposing running backs. Carter can catch the ball. He saw in the Jets' last game, he saw 50% of the snaps. James Robinson and Tyler Johnson, I think, saw around 20 to 25% each. So it was very clearly Michael Carter as like the lead guy of that committee. So I would expect at home he gets a good amount of work. Yeah, I mean, he's intriguing tomorrow. He's probably in the RB 20-ish range, but that might be a little too low. Maybe more like an RB 17 or 18 range.
And I'm just looking up his splits with Mike White there. Week 7 through week 10, 9 targets, 14 targets, 2 targets, and 6 targets. And that's with him getting at least 11 touches on the ground every game. 14 target upside. Wow. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he should be an RB2, and I do think he does in PPR, full PPR formats, have some, if he can get back up to 9+ targets, some low-end RB1 upside. If he can capitalize on some scoring options, if the offense runs better than we think it will, and he gets those amount of targets again. So yeah, good point, Callie.
Yep.
Corey Davis or Demarcus Robinson, full PPR. Now Robinson and Duvernay were both on the injury report.
Yeah.
What's their status?
Davis is off the injury, you meant Robinson and Duvernay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Demarcus Robinson, I believe, is questionable. Still questionable. The Q tag after a full practice. Robinson was a surprise, did not practice on Thursday, but he returned for a full practice on Friday. So on the optimistic side of questionable, if I had to guess, because of the full practice on Friday. Duvernay himself is also questionable. He didn't show up on the injury report until Friday. So Duvernay is probably a little more of a concern this week than Demarcus Robinson.
So are you going Corey Davis or Demarcus?
Man. I guess Demarcus because of Lamar Jackson against Mike White. I'll take Mike. And it's actually not a good matchup by the numbers. The Bears are actually solid against opposing receivers. The Jags are not. So I would probably go Demarcus Robinson catching passes from Lamar Jackson. Duvernay possibly on the wrong side of questionable, and Isaiah likely already ruled out. It's volatile. Anybody not named Mark Andrews in the Ravens passing offense is certainly volatile. But it's a good matchup, and they might be down Duvernay. So, I don't know. Maybe Demarcus Robinson continues to stay involved.
Yeah, I mean, Demarcus Robinson historically has been a guy that has gotten ceiling weeks and followed by nothing for multiple weeks, if not the entire year. Like, that's kind of been his trademark. And he did have insane efficiency last week. Caught all 9 targets that he got for 28 yards, wide receiver 8. I don't know if I'm chasing that, because he has had snap shares as high as that this season and finished wide receiver 101 and wide receiver 55. So I don't know if I think I go Corey Davis, because Corey Davis had a sustained stretch where he was a high-end wide receiver 3 with wide receiver 2 upside. Okay. I know different QB and all that, but also no Breece Hall.
I think I'm going to Marcus Robinson.
And I think I go Corey Davis, so we're split.
Yeah.
I do obviously like his quarterback better, DeMarcus, but I think I'll go Corey Davis. Fabian, start 2, and since Boyd isn't in there, I'm going London and Watson.
Yeah, and remember, you pointed out earlier in the week it was Sam Darnold who had DJ Moore producing well to begin the year last year.
I did.
And because London is playing in some bad weather,
Oh, yeah, I didn't factor that
I
in.
might actually go Christian Watson and roll the dice on DJ Moore here. I might just do it over London. It feels scary. It certainly, I feel like that's a fair word to use here. It certainly feels scary. But yeah, Moore was solid when Darnold was in there last year. So if you believe in that, potentially carrying over, it's been a long time since we've seen Darnold in there as the Panthers quarterback. It's been a long time, like dating back to last year, long time. So, take that with a grain of salt, I guess, or for whatever, do with that with what you will. Well, I might roll the dice on DJ Moore. The Falcons are going to be facing some crappy weather in Washington tomorrow. Rain, and I don't like dome teams who have to play in the elements.
So I did say that about DJ Moore and Sam Darnold, and it is true. In the first 4 games of the year, Darnold was on fire, running for touchdowns, leading the league in rushing touchdowns, but also had rapport with DJ Moore to where DJ Moore was the wide receiver 4 through 4 weeks. But Sam Darnold came back last year for the last 3 games of the year. And DJ Moore's finishes were wide receiver 45, wide receiver 66, and wide receiver 26. So that 4-game stretch, to me, a little bit offset by a 3-game stretch where he was borderline not usable with the same quarterback. Okay. So that tempers my expectations for Sam Darnold, DJ Moore, rekindling that early season value that they had in 2021.
Okay.
But you do make a fair point about London playing in weather.
Yeah.
So I think I do gotta go Moore and Watson.
Take a chance on DJ. Watson is that has to be the dude here of these 3 options. And then Yeah,
and at least in full PPR, Moore should be heavily targeted.
Moore should get involved. It is, you know what? It's against Denver, so we might see Surtain.
I'm still going Moore and Watson, knowing that London has had struggles. Yes, now Pitts isn't there, but I just don't trust Mariota in weather.
It's a good matchup by the numbers for London.
Moore and Watson for me in full PPR. But I am tempering my expectations, knowing that he did have a 3-game stretch last year that kind of offsets what he did in the first 4 games of the year with Darnold.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It could be a tough matchup for Moore. It's actually a good matchup by the numbers for London. I worry about a little bit about the weather and on the road and
living the dream. Alvin Kamara, Godwin, or Najee, need 2 out of the 3. Who should you start full PPR? You're starting Kamara, and then it's a choice for me between Godwin and Najee. Normally, it would just be Godwin, but Najee came back to life last week and doesn't have Jalen Warren.
Doesn't. It's a brutal matchup for Kamara. Who he exploded against the Raiders at home.
Kamara and Godwin.
But he's been kind of quiet the past 3 weeks in tougher matchups, and now he's got to go on the road. I can't believe this, but I might say Godwin and Najee over Kamara. It's just a really bad situation.
Yeah, it is. I can't argue that it isn't right now for Kamara, but Kamara has been more consistent than Najee has all year. And yes, Najee had the ceiling week last week and now doesn't have to deal with his number 2 running back being healthy, but Kamara has been better than Najee literally all year, even factoring in these 2 bust weeks that he's had the last 2 weeks. So I'm just going Alvin Kamara and Godwin.
I might go Godwin and Najee. I might.
So play Godwin, but we're split.
Play Godwin. I'm a little worried about Kamara's situation tomorrow, but I mean, he probably does have to be viewed as a matchup-proof running back. It's tough tomorrow on the road in San Francisco.
And Mr. Nguyen, it depends. If you need somebody this week, Robinson. Akers. If you are willing to look to the future, if your record is good and you're not too worried about this week, and these guys are just bench stashes, Cam Akers and OBJ. Or Cam Akers and Demarcus Robinson. But if you're good, if you're rolling into the playoffs, you're good. You got your starters, you're good. Cam Akers, OBJ.
Yeah.
And then David Banks, full PPR start Alec Pierce, DPJ, Algier, or Cam Akers in the flex. Are you going DPJ there then? Just out of just the options there. I'm not going Alec Pierce.
I mean, I might take a shot on Akers. I might take a shot on Akers.
And full PPR, I think. Did Akers catch any balls last week?
No.
Yeah,
it's not really. He's not really a pass catching back.
That's Kyron Williams'
right.
role. I think I go DPJ, man.
I worry about DPJ because of the weather. A little bit more. Akers is a floor play. DPJ is a volatile ceiling play.
I just think Cam Akers could get taken out of the game plan altogether.
Yeah, he could.
He could just get Chiefs, right.
He could get taken out of the game plan. I guess DPJ won't. It's bad weather.
Even if it's the bad weather, I'm going in full PPR. I think I'm going DPJ.
All right.
In this situation,
that's fair.
Yeah. And picking Sutton or Sutton. Clarify.
Yeah, but Sutton over Pickens.
Yeah. Cali, half PPR, need one each, running back, wide receiver, in the flex. Pierce, Latavius, Pittman, Pickens, Watson, and more.
Murray is your running back. Pittman is your wide receiver. Pierce is your floor flex. Watson is your ceiling flex.
Yeah.
I might go Watson over Pierce.
Yeah.
I think I would go.
I mean, volume-wise, Pickens and Watson are pretty close.
Yeah, I would go Murray, Pittman, Watson.
Yeah. Yeah, and half PPR, Murray, Pittman, Watson. If it was standard, Pierce, but Watson. And I'm not dropping Treylon Burks for Corey Davis in PPR. Not at all.
No.
Not at all. Any weather problems in Seattle? You got both kickers going. Both kickers.
I'm not aware of any weather in Seattle tomorrow, and it's typically been a place where you don't have to worry about it. 43% chance of rain. All right, I'll look into this if you could keep going.
I'm going Rachaad White over Terry McLaurin, but they're very close. Yes. But I think I go Rachaad White over Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, I would.
And then Latavius or Olave PPR.
Latavius, I think I go Latavius.
Yeah.
Olave, it's just a tough matchup.
Yeah, Latavius is safer floor and has a equitable ceiling, so Latavius.
And then just to wrap up the thoughts on Seattle, actually, according to the weather.com, I don't know where Yahoo's sourcing their information from, or if maybe it's dated, but now it's saying around kickoff, about a 20% chance of rain, 8 to 10 mile per hour winds. You're not worried about the kickers in that situation.
Yeah. Agreed with the kicker whisperer. The modern dog, I'm going Jeff Wilson this week with no Raheem Mostert.
Yeah, Wilson against Houston. Yes. Over Najee. Yeah, that I can get on board with.
And yeah, interesting factoids. If you have a solid swerve over Taysom, I'm going with the swerve. Mm-hmm. And Jimmy G, Daggers had a great game last week. Do you go with him or Kyler Murray? I think you go back to Kyler Murray, even though Jimmy G is a solid low-end QB1. I just think Murray is a mid-tier QB1 with
higher upside.
Top 3 upside. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's off the injury report. I think we can comfortably expect that he will run.
And for what it's worth, yeah, QB10, QB8, and QB2 over the last 3 weeks from Murray. And now he has both of his wide receivers.
Yeah.
Murray. Interesting. Are we worried at all that what is Waller going to be coming back this season?
Maybe. I don't know.
I think I want Dulcich over Moreau for that reason, because Dulcich isn't going to get taken out of the game plan at all. But
yeah,
Foster Moreau might.
Yeah, I'll take Dulcich.
Yep.
Dulcich.
And Joe Harris, happy Thanksgiving to you too. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, Joe.
5-6 in a full PPR league, and you're starting CMC. But who would y'all start at the RB2? Your options are Gibson, Perrine, and Pacheco. Perrine.
I think Perine's the guy. I do. I think I would prefer him over Gibson and Pacheco. In full PPR, he'll continue to catch passes.
Yeah.
He does it when Mixon is in there. He should do it at a potentially higher rate without Mixon.
Yep. Also, do you guys have a guy that you're looking to pick up and beat the waiver wire? Best options in your league are Hilliard, Moreau, Mack, Sky Moore, Demarcus Robinson, Deion Jackson, Elijah Moore, Corey Davis, and Gainwell.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's really. I'm always looking for running backs, right?
I like Hilliard. I like Hilliard.
I'm always looking for running backs. That, like, first and foremost, when I'm trying, if I can afford to play ahead, I do prefer running backs. Of this group, if you have a roster spot, I would be cautiously interested in adding Elijah Moore, just because he did perform well last year when it wasn't Zach Wilson. So maybe he sees a little bit more this week. That's a major dart throw at this point. But also, of these guys at the beginning of the season, it's, I know I'm preaching to the choir here. He obviously was the most highly touted of this group. So, like, if I can afford a roster spot and a stash and hope, I think I would go Elijah here. But Hilliard is also intriguing, again, because when I'm looking ahead, it's at running backs.
Yeah, edge running back to me, and Hilliard is a handcuff to one of the biggest workloads in the NFL. Deion Jackson got his role kind of usurped by Zach Moss, I think, at this point. And Gainwell. If I'm looking for a handcuff, I think I want the handcuff to Derrick Henry over the handcuff to Miles Sanders. Yeah. Considering there's a Boston Scott who got a ton of work last week with the Eagles, and there's a quarterback that's going to vulture some TDs moving forward. Hilliard doesn't have that if anything happened to Derrick Henry. And Hilliard last year had some real big boom weeks when there was no Derrick Henry, and that was with splitting the work 50-50 with a Dontrell Hilliard, or Donta Foreman. So, I think I'd just go Hilliard. Because right about now is when we speculated that Derrick Henry would reach that cliff that we're worried about. Right? Like, did he reach that?
Yeah, I mean,
1,800 cliff?
Hurt, but sure, or start to fall off. But yeah,
right.
I mean.
So we're split there. Nick would go Elijah Moore. I would go Hilliard. But you can't go wrong with either two, I don't think.
Yeah.
Michael Alexander, do you play Rashad over Connor?
And if you're projected to win big, then, I mean, at this point, like, play the guy you want to play. Like, I know that sounds weird, but, like, if you're a big favorite, play the dude who you would prefer to play. And I mean, let's be real, Rachaad White's a little more intriguing right now than
he's
James
more fun.
Conner.
He's a more fun play
he's
than
more
Connor.
Fun, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, Connor's a boring plotter who should get it done for you. Rashad might do, he's a young guy who's intriguing because he's unknown. He catches some passes.
And it makes it fun on game day if you're able to tune in and key in on a guy like Rachaad White and you're cheering for him in his first start. And yeah, just go Rachaad White.
I think I would just go. I mean, it is a great matchup by the numbers. We can't rule out that Connor is going up against the Chargers, who do give up tons of production to opposing running backs. But
you're up
Rachaad
by 40.
White is in the slightly better matchup.
And you're up by 40.
Yeah.
So you can afford to be, playing games like that. So yeah. Rachaad White.
Play Rachaad White.
Yasir Ahmed, good to see you. Do I play Treylon Burks, Darnell Mooney, Pacheco, or Hollywood Brown this week at the flex? I think the safe play. What's your format? First off,
the format would be helpful.
Not playing Darnell Mooney with no Fields. I like Hollywood Brown this week more than Nick does.
I'm always cautious, I think, with a guy in his first game back. I mean, unless it's like a clear-cut top 3 or 4 stud who you have no choice but to fire up. But if it's PPR or half PPR, I'm going Burks. If it's standard, I'm going Pacheco.
Yeah. I think I would swap out Burks and Hollywood in that scenario. Because again, Hollywood is more of a track record. Burks has one good week. I like Burks, but one good week, so I think I'm going to Hollywood there. But I agree, Pacheco, in certain formats. Getting mixed reviews on a trade. You traded away Fournette, Sanders, and Higgins, and got CMC and Njoku because you didn't have a tight end. Pitt's getting injured. Screwed you.
Right. I mean, yeah. I don't know. There's probably people that think you gave up too much. There's probably people that maybe, I don't know. I guess there might be some people that feel like you. I don't know. I don't know what the mixed reviews are. I mean, I think this is fine. Fournette is hurt.
It's fine.
Higgins is a wide receiver 1, so that's a huge piece to give up. And you gave up good running back depth, but I mean, you got McCaffrey, so and Njoku was a guy, and you needed a replacement at tight end.
And Njoku's not a terrible option.
I think this is fine. I don't think I would. I mean, I don't know what your whole roster and his whole roster or I don't know what their whole roster looks like. I don't know what your whole roster looks like, but like I think this is fine.
Yeah, I think so. Especially with Njoku getting a better QB moving forward. But you have to remember, CMC is now a part-time player. So that does kind of factor into probably some of the people in your league's apprehension, I guess. And you're giving up more pieces. So you're giving up the 3, getting the 2. But really, man, if you're happy with the deal, it doesn't matter what everybody else in your league is saying. So as long as you're happy with your roster moving forward, then good job. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Fabian says Sertan would shadow more. Also, London is annoying for playing in bad weather because Pitts is out. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Edward, should I pick?
Yeah.
Huh?
Sorry. Would Sertan shadow more? I think he might. So that's a little concerning.
Oh, I'm sorry. I read that wrong. I thought you were saying Sertan would shadow more. My bad.
I think he will, but I don't know.
Yeah.
And if he does, it's going to be harder for more. But him versus London, I think I go more.
And anyway. Edward, I mean, if you need a play for this week, it's Jerick McKinnon.
Yeah.
For sure. And I honestly, at this point, think you should just go Jerick McKinnon.
Yeah, if you need a play, then sure. Like, what's your situation? Are you 8-3 and you're sitting pretty? Maybe just keep Mostert, and if you need to take a 0 or a worse option, then maybe just do that. But if you need a win, an injured dude can't help you if you can't IR him.
I think I'd rather have McKinnon than Raheem Mostert.
I don't know that I'm ready to go there, but yeah, again, for this week, if I need a healthy player and Mostert is the drop, then yeah, drop Mostert. Mostert won't do your lineup any good if you are in a situation where it's win or go home.
And Groot in your pants, that's a funny name, yo. Pick 2 PPR, Pittman, Godwin, or Juju. First 2.
Pittman against Pittsburgh at home, and yeah.
I know Juju should be a little bit more of a volume-based play and should have more of a spike week potential at least, but Pittman and Godwin are in a different tier.
Yeah, there is spike week potential for Juju this week, but yeah, Pittman and Godwin, I just, any given week, I can't play Juju over those guys.
Yeah, and interesting factoids, no worries, man, all good. I would go Pittman.
Pittman. Yeah, Pittman. They're at home. Matt Ryan's back in there. It's a great matchup by the numbers. Pittman.
Yep. And Micah Cow, should you start Rashad White or T. Higgins in full PPR? T. Higgins with no chase. I like Rashad White a lot, but T. Higgins with no chase. Who are your running backs that you're sitting White, though?
Yeah. No, you got to play Higgins.
Yep. Throw your running backs in the chat, though, and then we can see if there is a spot where you can squeeze in White. Fabian, later on in the season, is it more valuable to pick up defenses on winning teams as they should try harder?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't want to risk anything in a win or go home situation on a defense on a bad team that could potentially get checked out of the game at a sooner or faster with less to play for. Yes, that's a good thought process, or that's a good strategy. That is a good plan of attack. Yeah, target teams that are playing for something where their season still matters.
It's the reason why we don't play fantasy in week 18.
Yeah.
Same principle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Target players and defenses, whatever, on teams who are still playing for something, where their season still means something.
And Micah, real quick, you have Henry and JT, so yeah, you're sitting white.
Yeah,
but you got a solid lineup then, man.
Yep, but you're playing Higgins.
Yep. Wentworth Schreibner, good to see you. Should I start Godwin or Keenan Allen?
If it's half or full, if it's full PPR, I Keenan Allen. Actually, if it's half PPR, I'll say Keenan Allen. If it's standard, I'll say Godwin.
I'm just going Keenan.
All right, fine.
Edward Reyes,
what's up, Edward?
Full PPR, Latavius or Pacheco? Latavius.
Yeah, go Murray. I mean, Pacheco has proven to not really have any type of pass catching upside. Latavius does, and in full PPR with no more Melvin Gordon, I gotta think he gets I gotta think he has a 5-6 target floor.
Yeah, I would agree.
No Jerry Jeudy, Melvin Gordon waived. Latavius Murray over Pacheco.
And I'm gonna give you the floor for this before I make my point. We've spoken about this a little bit in an hour ago or something. But Nils, are you worried about Hollywood's limited snap/pitch count?
It's the potential for that, sure. Yeah, I mean, you always have to tread lightly and proceed with caution with players in their first game back, because more likely than not, they're going to be eased in. Keenan Allen played. Now, let's take Keenan Allen, right? He came back last week for the first time from injury. He played 68% of the snaps. So that's pretty good. I think, what did he do? Like 5 for 94? I don't know why that sticks out in my head, but I feel like I think that's correct. 5 for 94 last week, which is good. Those are good numbers. 5 for 94 on 8 targets. Should see similar usage. You feel much better about Keenan. I feel much better about Keenan Allen now, though, after seeing that, making it through the game unscathed, and now it's a good matchup in a dome, no weather concerns. Keenan Allen's great. I didn't want to play Keenan Allen last week, though. And he gave you a floor play in half PPR. He gave you 10 points.
But he was also the number 1, whereas Marquise Brown is the clear-cut number 2. Now, my argument for Marquise Brown earlier in this live stream was no Zach Ertz for the rest of the season, obviously. No Rondale Moore. Greg Dortch is questionable, wrong side of questionable. No Eno Benjamin. And it looks like they might have to rely on AJ Green, which means I think Marquise Brown is going to get a fair amount of work. Do I think he's going to get a full amount of snaps? No. But he showed enough of a floor early in the year with the usage that he's a high upside wide receiver 3, and with wide receiver 2 upside for me.
Yeah, I mean,
but I think even considering that, I think he will be on a somewhat of a limited snap count.
He's going to be on a pitch count. The head coach said as much. And I'm not crazy about those scenarios. Fewer snaps means fewer opportunities. And yes, to your point about Ertz and Rondale and Dortch, I think it's going to be good news for Hollywood starting in week 14. The Cardinals are on bye next week. That's another thing. If he's going to be on a pitch count and you have a bye week next week, just hold him out. I mean, that's my thought process. But again,
that's what the coaching staff should do. But the Cardinals are idiots.
Right. The Cardinals are an inept organization. We know this.
In short, yes, we are somewhat worried. Nick is a little bit more worried than me,
I'm
but
concerned about it. Yeah,
he is going to be limited.
Yeah, therefore I'm concerned about it.
Sean Davis, PPR, you need 2 running backs and a flex. You have CMC, ETN, Kenneth Walker, and Rashad White.
In full PPR,
CMC for sure, obviously.
The first 3.
Yeah. Yeah,
I really
you
like
have to
Rachaad
sit
White.
somebody.
I really like Rachaad White, but I got to give the edge to ETN.
Yeah, and K9.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think, I mean, not unfortunately, it's a good problem to have so many good options. But I would play the first three, Sean.
And Fabian, I'm not super worried. Do I expect him to catch multiple touchdowns every week? No. But Aaron Rodgers has been trying to find a go-to guy for the long bomb touchdowns, and I think he's found him. And remember, Aaron Rodgers is one of the best quarterbacks over the last few seasons, if not over the course of his career, at touchdown interceptions, just touchdowns, just getting touchdowns. They've been looking for a guy in that offense to take that mantle from Devontae Adams, who's 29 touchdowns in the last 2 years prior to leaving. I think they've kind of unlocked a role for him where I think he's a good bet to score a touchdown on limited receptions. And he's still got targets, 6 targets and 8 targets in the last 2 weeks. So yes, he wasn't getting Allen Lazard 10 and 11 target games, but 6 and 8 targets for a guy that has the touchdown upside that he does. I'm not worried that he was third in receptions, yards, and targets this past week. The Modern Dog, I don't know if David Bell is worth picking up. Maybe if you want to stash a guy for when Deshaun Watson comes back. But that's it. But I don't know if we've really seen too much out of David Bell this year to warrant picking him up.
Yeah, nah. I mean, not Cooper, and if DPJ was on the injury report with something, like, okay, sure, but yeah, I mean, I know the thought process here, right? Deshaun Watson is coming back. Are the ancillary pass catchers more viable now? The answer in a vacuum is probably yeah. But like, are you gonna like? Is there start potential for David Bell in your lineup?
Most likely not.
You're talking about probably a minimum of 2 or 3 weeks where he would just need to show anything at all for me to want to start considering him. And then by that point, it's the fantasy playoffs, and I'm not playing David Bell.
No, the dart throw pickups that I'm trying to do, they're the running back pickups, the ancillary handcuff running back pickups. Those are the ones I'm trying to make.
The guys before who are they're not on anybody's radar right now, but the second an injury happens,
your Hilliards.
Yeah.
Dontrell Hilliard is one.
Kyron Williams.
Yeah. Chuba Hubbard, who might have been dropped. If something happens to Donta Foreman, Chuba's the only guy there.
Yeah. James Robinson.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know?
Those guys.
Yeah.
Wentworth, start 2. CMC, we got this one. Callie.
Got that. Did we?
Wentworth.
We had 2 different people ask that question. Sean and Wentworth both asked it.
Wow.
Yeah. So
first 3.
First 3. Same as long as it's full PPR.
Oh wait, was Najee part of that question for Sean? Nah.
Oh no, he wasn't. Jesus.
Would everybody but Najee?
It was Najee instead of K.
Yeah. Start White over Najee.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, Wentworth. Yeah. McCaffrey, ETN, and Rachaad White.
Yeah.
Very, very, very close. To K9 over Rachaad White, but Rachaad White over Najee.
Mm-hmm. And Sean Davis, hey, thanks for chilling. Yeah. Callie, deep dive,
Callie.
Running back,
RB2.
Josh Kelly, Amir Abdullah or Zamir White, Travis Homer, Boston Scott, JaMychal Hasty, or Matt Breida. Yeah, those are desperate deep dive dart throws.
I would pick
Zamir.
I would pick up Zamir White, I guess, and shoot, is that Boston Scott?
Yeah,
because you said you have the opponent listed as Tennessee. Boston Scott's going up against Green Bay, so I'm not sure who that B Scott is if it's not Boston Scott. I guess Zamir.
Yeah, I mean Jacobs has a calf injury.
Late injury ad, so he's probably kind of volatile tomorrow, even if he does go. So yeah, I mean Zamir could see a little extra work. And
if he does get even more banged up with that leg, then I mean Zamir could have a stretch over the next few games where he's viable. These other guys, I'm not sure if I quite see that with one person getting injured. But Wentworth with the last question. Pick one. White, Godwin, Najee, or Lazard PPR? Godwin and PPR.
Godwin.
Yeah.
I think Godwin.
I
want to play White.
Edge Godwin.
I want to play White, but we have to give respect to the guys who have proven to be consistent high end performers, and Godwin fits that mold in full PPR. I'll say Godwin.
Yeah, I'll agree. And one more question, CJ Chris. I would go with Perrine.
Yeah, play Samaje. Should get volume, better offense than Foreman has on the Panthers. Kyron Williams is very interesting as a stash, but I'm waiting a week.
Yep.
I'm waiting a week.
I am too.
Perine's going to get all the work with Mixon out.
But I think we have reached the end of the chat here. Thank you, everybody, for chilling with us. Thank you to Rico for the super. Thank you to anybody who subbed. And thank you for everybody in here asking your questions and contributing to the discourse, contributing to the channel. If you are interested in contributing any more to the channel, take a look at our members offering. It's the first link in the description below. We got a 99-cent tier that gives you 8 extra streams a month. Might be vital for your playoff prospects. Just throwing it out there. Maybe something you're interested in. Third link in the description is our Evergreen Discord link. You can click on that link. Join our Discord for free. Join a pretty active community of people who love fantasy. So check those out. Again, thank you for listening. Thank you for everybody that hit the like buttons. We were 4 subs away from hitting 3K when we started the stream. Now we're 2 away. So if there's anybody in here that is not subbed and wants to help us hit 3K tonight,
that would be cool.
That would be real dope. But regardless, thank you for chilling. We'll probably hit 3K tomorrow, regardless of whatever y'all do. Just a reminder, 10 a.m. tomorrow, we got another stream for a good 2 hours. So if you have any more questions, you can join that stream at 10 a.m. EST, and we can help you out.
Yeah. Otherwise, like John said, thanks for coming in. Thanks for hanging out. Everybody enjoy your Saturday nights.
Yes, sir.
We'll see y'all tomorrow.
Peace, y'all.